Everybody, Mark with the North Florida Bicycle Club, and if you watch these in any type of order, the other day I did a video on TPU tubes and electric pumps. I thought maybe I should talk a little bit more about TPU tubes, so today we'll talk about TPU versus butyl tubes. Butyl tubes are what almost everybody uses. There's also latex tubes out there, but this is TPU versus butyl. So what is TPU? TPU stands for thermoplastic polyurethane. Polyurethane is all one word. I did it like that because that's where the TP and the U come from. But everybody just refers to them as TPU tubes. So why would you want to consider TPUs? I'm a fan of TPU tubes, so let's talk about the positives and negatives of those. So here's your typical butyl tube, and you can see a butyl tube is fairly big, takes up a lot of space. It's, the palm of my hand. Compared to a TPU tube, let's do them side by side. TPUs are much, much smaller. So when it comes to a saddlebag, I can probably put 3 TPU tubes into my bag versus 1 butyl tube. So there's a very, very big difference in size. So size is only one of the benefits. One benefit, of course, size. Weight, because of the fact that they're smaller, there's also a weight difference. Now, weight difference matters if you're a weight weenie, so to speak. Less weight, less rolling in that tire is going to help with speed. For people like me, I'm never even going to notice a difference. But if you're somebody out there looking to get every single little advantage, they are lighter. It should move you a little bit faster. You also get better rolling resistance with a TPU tube, and that is the capability of your tire. Again, I'm probably not going to notice the rolling resistance, but if you're looking to squeeze out everything, you get better rolling resistance with the TPU tubes. They're better with pinch flats. This is actually a little bit more durable of a material than butyl is. So in the case of a pinch flat, you're a little less likely to get the pinch flat with a TPU. When it comes to regular punctures, there really isn't much of a difference. If you get a screw or a little wire or something like that through your tube, whether it's a TPU or a butyl, you're probably going to get a flat in that situation. You can also recycle these because they're simply plastic. Now, wherever you are, maybe they don't recycle plastic, but it's a plastic tube. It can go in recycling. Butyl is rubber. It can be recycled as well, but typically not in the home recycling, again, depending upon where you live. So those are just some of the advantages of TPU tubes. Now, of course, there are some negatives of TPU tubes. Availability. In general, you're not going to run down to your local bike shop and get a TPU tube. They tend to be a little bit more expensive. They don't carry them well. Plus, one of the things I'll mention down below is that the quality has been suspect on some TPU tubes. A lot of bike shops said, I don't want to carry these anymore because my customers were bringing them back complaining that the tube wasn't performing properly. Cost, maybe. So you can go to AliExpress and get these from China for about $5 a tube. You can also spend as much as $50 a tube. There's a very, very big range. Price is not always equal to quality, but generally speaking, the less expensive ones, there'll be more quality issues. I think the quality has improved a lot over the last year, but the consistency of what you're going to get with that TPU tube does matter a little bit. And I mentioned quality before, that's why some going back. And I also put valve on there. So this particular one, I've got a metal valve. You can get these with a plastic valve. I prefer metal. So when I'm looking to buy, I don't buy the ones with the plastic valves. I just don't want to have the plastic. There's a valve core in here. Sometimes they're removable, sometimes they're not. I don't really care if it's a removable valve core or not, so I don't look for that. But you might, especially if you use, say, an extender on your bike, you might need that valve core to come out. So when you buy a tube, make sure you're looking for a tube that has a removable valve core if that's what you need. And then patching can be a little bit of a challenge. If I can hold this up a little bit more. Almost every TPU tube I've ever purchased comes with at least one patch and an alcohol swab to get it cleaned off a little bit. In my experience, I've got to glue them on. I have not had luck with the self-stick. To be fair, I never had luck with a self-stick with a butyl tube either, so maybe it's just me. I find when I glue the patch on, it works great. I don't have any problem with that. Not much lucking with the stick, which means if you're somebody who just wants to patch that tube on the fly, I can show you videos where people are patching on the fly, but that hasn't always worked for me. So TPU tubes have been around for several years, relatively new. I think the advantages outweigh the disadvantages for me, but that's a decision that you'll have to make on your own.